Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
You mean to wish me a good morning, or do you mean that it is a good morning whether I want it or not?
Please go away. Let me speak for the love of God.
I believe that is the sweet smell of revenge.
Success.
Yeah, I mean, if revenge is a dish best served cold, it's probably a tiramisu, right?
I don't want to eat it.
Oh, no?
No. Tiramisu.
Could be frog in a pond. Come on.
I do like leftovers. KFC the next day, served cold.
That's revenge, my friend.
That's revenge. That's revenge on my body for
Yes.
not being able to finish it the night before.
Should we record a podcast?
Let's give it a shot. We've never done one before.
We'll do it. Thank you for listening, everybody. This is a podcast. It's Good Movie Monday. We appreciate you listening. We are dedicated to nerdy cinematic ramblings. It's what we do. I'm Glenn Cochran, and my cohort is Ben Helwig. Every week, without fail, the two of us spend an hour chatting about movies, essentially wasting their time, right?
Yeah. Do you remember when, was it, I think it's Alan Partridge used to introduce the show. He's like, I am Chacho.
I wasn't going to copy.
Is it? Yeah.
We are Chat Show.
We are Chacho.
Yes, and...
Now, Glenn,
Yeah.
would you like to sing a medley of ABBA songs with me right now?
Where do you want to start? Oh, what a shame we don't have a
Take a
license.
chance, take a chance, take a chance, take a chance, take a... I'm just completely ripping off Alan Partridge now. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's all right. Where are we? I don't know.
Good thing you've got it all written down.
Yeah, I guess we're going to waste people's time. That's where I was at.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
where I was at.
that's all right.
And this week is no exception.
No.
Whenever I can attach a theme to the show, though, I do it. You know, we ran out of themes for a while, and we stopped doing it, and then you brought it to my attention that we've stopped doing it, so I'm bringing them back.
Bringing him back.
Bringing them back, and today's show is all about revenge movies.
Nice.
So that came full circle real quick there.
Yeah. It's almost as if it was planned.
In fact, the last time we spoke about revenge movies on this show was when Matthew Holmes was on the show to talk about the cost before he went into production. And now the film is out, and we're going to talk about revenge movies again.
Perfect.
There's another little circle.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works.
A Venn diagram.
So on today's show, we're going to actually be chatting with Kevin D, one of the stars of the show. He's the guy that gets the shit beat out of him and tortured.
Of the cost.
Of the cost, yes.
Yeah.
That's right. But as a bonus for everybody, our social media this week on Facebook and YouTube, there will be a bonus video with myself and Matt having a chat about the film as well. So that saves you and I recording extra content, mate.
Yeah, perfect.
I did it for you.
Or you did it for him.
All for you, mate.
Well, yeah.
We have a fun show as usual, though. The other cohorts are here. Jarrett's going to do one of those sneaky little, I guess, 30, 40-second bits because he's in Monster Fest mode too. You have the time to come over and record an entire show, and yet all he gives us is like a soundbite.
But I wouldn't say I have the time. I make the time.
Exactly. No, Jarrett, we do appreciate it. I'm not just having a dig. I'm actually having a joke.
Because he is the only person who listens to the show, so you know he's going to hear it.
That's
So
right.
maybe don't.
I'll walk it back. We also have our weekly dose of Bonehead Weekly Fun Size. So the guys from Kentucky are going to be here and do their Kentucky cinematic ramblings.
Nice.
Yes. Kentucky makes me hungry.
Do they ever talk about Kentucky Fried Chicken on the show?
Never.
Missed opportunity. They should do the show every week at a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Maybe it just
That's what
doesn't.
they should
Maybe it
record.
just doesn't have the appeal over there that it does here.
I don't believe it. Especially in a post-COVID world where people don't tend to go in to those fast food restaurants anymore. Like KFC is the weird exception.
Yeah.
When I go through the drive-through and the one in Chadston, please don't stalk me. There's
Shit.
or do if you want to.
It is.
There's always people in that one, but when I go through the drive-through at Macca's or Hungry Jack's, there's never anyone in there. It's weird that KFC has somehow broken that.
Yes.
And yet still it doesn't they still don't, it's not like they go to any extra effort to clean the mess Like it is a pigsty in all those places because they don't want to pay the staff to, clean up after the people who
the
dine
staff
in.
don't want to work either.
Well, that's true. They are 16.
Yeah, that's right.
They got better things to do with their time.
Go to goodmoviemonday.com, everybody. That's where you'll find links to all of our social media pages. Go and follow those, like them, subscribe, and leave comments and interact, because we are now every week putting out questions to people that we would love you to answer, and we can talk about them on the show, and we'll do that in a little bit.
And there is a nice little section on the website called Ben Complains About KFC, where every time he goes... I like how I'm talking about myself in the third person. Every time I go, I leave a little comment.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a comment thing. Unfortunately, I don't think the web admin has ever approved any of those comments. So they just sit there it's like they're spam.
Well, I'm trying to turn it into a vodcast, you see.
Ah, I see.
Yes. So you've got to start filming these.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I can totally do that. I've got I did a live from my car once, and all I got were complaints from friends of mine who also happen to be police officers going, "Are you sure you can do this?" And I'm like, "I'm parked. It's fine. I'm not driving anywhere." I was totally driving, but I wasn't looking at the camera. I was looking at the road.
And it was a strap on.
Yeah, it was like with the hands free. Yeah.
I also want to quickly spruik Wednesday Up Late, the other podcast I host on a Wednesday night with Chloe. Go check that out. It's a lot of fun. Recently we did an episode where we ate gross shit. So go and check. I have
to say, I have recently, I've looked at TikTok a bit.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually have an account. I wasn't interested in having one.
Yeah.
I started one the other day because I found I was missing. I just wanted mainly because I always forget to watch Have You Been Paying Attention in the cheap seats.
They got all the good
and I've
clips.
subscribed to their channels. But I've had quite a few Good Movie Monday and Up Late. And I'm pretty sure I don't follow those accounts. I'm not sure.
No, Up Late and Good Movie Monday, same account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get that they are popping up in my feed.
That is great.
I think I actually made a comment on one the other day.
I think you did. I am seeing that. Mr.
Yeah.
Ben Helwig has seen a video.
Did it say Ben Helwig?
It did. No, VHS Meltdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta
Giving too much away here, man.
You've let it out.
Should we quickly talk about Monster Fest? So Monster Fest is
It's wrapped up. It's
done and dusted, my friend. How you feeling?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Well, I say it's done. Melbourne is done.
Yeah.
And starting on a Friday, I think it's Friday, the 27th. Sydney, Perth, Adelaide, and the Brisbane Monster Fests kick off with Suitable Flesh, the Joe Lynch film.
Brian Yuzna,
Dennis Paoli
Yep.
film. So definitely, if you're interstate and listening to this show, which please, I beg you, just jump onto any one of our social media platforms and just say, "Yep, I listen and I'm in."
Yeah.
Just so curious.
Say it one more time.
Yeah.
So they don't miss it.
Yeah, just jump on. Just say, hey, I'm in Brisbane and I listen to the show. That's you don't have to interact with us ever again. That's fine.
But we'd like it.
But we'd love you if you did.
Yeah. So how was the atmosphere, in Monster Fest all up?
It was great.
Yeah?
It was great. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. People seem to be having a good time. I mean, it's hard for me to tell because I kind of sit in the corner like a lump and don't really engage.
I was there for a few nights and the atmosphere was fantastic.
Yeah.
So, and you look at the social media and the pages are just lit up with media wall photos of people from different screenings.
Yeah.
And
we like to do this year. We like to mess around a bit. We had the David Gregory doco, Enter the Clones of Bruce, the Bruce Lee, the Bruce exploitation documentary, and we got everyone kind of ninja headbands.
I saw that.
Kung Fu headbands that people took pictures with on social media. Just yesterday on Sunday, we had the documentary We Kill for Love, and I bought people like these raincoats, these disposable raincoats to wear in the cinema. And funnily enough, Nova had a bunch of like hand moisturizer, sanitizer stuff that they just had lying around. So we gave that out to people. I freely admit now that I got the whole raincoat thing in the cinema wrong. I always thought that you wore the raincoat to protect yourself from flying other patrons flying jizz. But no, the raincoat is to cover it for when you're manipulating yourself
Oh, yes.
to cover your action. Well, these raincoats were see-through, so that did not work at all.
You know what? You should have just done a cheeky sneak out the back and just trigger the fire alarm and get the sprinkler system going.
Yeah, I wonder if they have the. I mean, they must have it.
They'd have to.
It's a tough one. I mean, it's not a. It's not like a bookshop where the entire stock would be ruined by a sprinkler going off. But yeah, I don't know if they do at the Cinema Nova.
Well, the seats will be protected because you're all wearing raincoats.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, they're made out of some kind of velour that soaks up gross body juices.
And never mind all the other cinemas.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome. I'm really glad it went well. And last week on the show, we had the guys from Emu War.
Yes.
So if you did catch that at Monster Fest, that interview, go back and have a listen. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and look, it is. If you are interstate, check out Emu War there because, from what I understand, it won't be getting a theatrical post the festival. Mm-hmm. So if you want to see it on the big screen, Monster Fest is the place to do it.
And you want to be with an audience.
You do, definitely, 100%. It is an audience film.
All right, freaks, it is time for me to interrupt the show for, 40 seconds or so, just to quickly remind you about Newsly. You probably already have it, so this is irrelevant. But anyway, go to newsly.me and download it. It's the super app that has all of the podcasts that you could possibly want. It's the best way to listen to Good Movie Monday. They also have news from all around the world, which is actually what they're all about. So the highest trending articles from over 80 different countries at any given time are funneled into the palm of your hand and read back to you in a natural human voice. That's right, the app reads the news back to you, which is very, very cool when you haven't got time to read or you're incapacitated or you just, might be driving. Whatever the case is, Newsly has you covered. And they love what we do, and to support us, they offer all of you, our good listeners, a month of premium service absolutely free. So go to newsly.me, download it, and use our exclusive code Monday without the O, MNDAY. Newsly.me, get on it.
Hey, this is Jarrett and welcome to PE Class, reporting remotely once again as we just wrapped Monster Fest in Melbourne last night and we're about to set sail to Brisbane, Sydney, Perth and Adelaide this weekend from Friday through Sunday. But let's get on to this week's releases. First up, Umbrella, and they're releasing probably or possibly my favourite genre film of the year. The year's not over yet, but I really love this movie. And it's an Australian movie too, which is terrific. Talk to Me. It's coming to 4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray and DVD. Now the 4K and Blu-ray have an audio commentary. It's got a Q&A from the Sydney premiere. There's a behind-the-scenes featurette. There's interviews with cast and crew. There's deleted scenes and a trailer. You know how much I love trailers being on disc, so I'm glad they've included the trailer. Also from Umbrella making its 4K Ultra HD debut locally is Possession. It's porting all the special features from the previous Beyond Genres release, along with 2 new special features, an audio commentary with Sally Christie, and a video essay by author and film historian Alexandra Haller-Nicholas, and I was privileged enough to edit that one. Then, coming from Roadshow, from the Warner catalogue, we've got some back catalogue titles that have been out in the US and the UK for a while. They're finally surfacing locally. They are V for Vendetta, The Green Mile, and Beetlejuice. Then the last distributor I'll mention that are putting out titles this week, and it's an abundance of horror titles, is Viavision, who are releasing Night of the Eagle, Bug, The Orphanage, Wind Chill, Skeleton Key, and The Mad Room. Anyway, that's it for me this week, so until next time, stay physical.
Jarrett, like yourself, still finding time to squeeze in some Good Movie Monday lovin'. And I feel warm and fuzzy for it. Thank you, Jarrett. Much appreciated, mate. Get a bit of rest and then get cracking with that interstate stuff. Yeah. They depend on you.
We do.
Listeners will know that every single week I've started putting out questions on social media for our listeners to answer. And
because my games were shit.
No, look, all you've got to do to get them back in action is propose one.
Yeah.
No, so what I'm doing is picking up the slack for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
in the
it's
meantime,
because Ben is shit.
Now, I thought this is a great way to engage people and, definitely getting them involved with the show. Gives us some great content, part of the conversation, all that kind of stuff. This week was, dropped off a little bit.
Really?
Didn't get much engagement.
What was the question?
So the question was, curate your own revenge marathon. So 3 movies that you'd play back to back in a revenge marathon. In other words, your 3 favorite revenge films. We only had a few comments, so I'm going to read them out, and then we can talk about this a little bit. Brody Kane comments every week. Good old Brody Kane. He's been with us since episode 1.
Right.
I think he had a bit of issue with the transition from Keith to Ben. I'm going to be honest.
Oh,
with
really?
you. I think he loved Keith.
He was didn't care for me.
He sent us. He loves you now, mate. But he did in the early days. He'd send us videos, and
Of like, this is me getting pissed off listening to that asshole who can't string a sentence together.
Brody,
Fuck
set
that guy.
him straight, mate. Drop a relevant comment to that. He came up with 3 movies and then decided 3 weren't enough, and he asked, could he do 3 more? I'm like, of course you can, mate.
There are no rules.
Well, no, there's not. So he went for Commando,
Nice.
The Crow,
Mm-hmm.
and RoboCop. That was his first trilogy.
I
Not a
like
bad one.
RoboCop, and I like the
Commando.
dick shooting RoboCop parody.
I love the name of the new documentary. It's called RoboDoc.
RoboDoc.
That's
yeah.
fantastic. And then his second wave. So I guess he's doing two nights here. Night 1 and night 2.
He's doing a proper all nighter.
Good old days. So he did The Wraith.
Nice.
That is a good one. Darkman.
Yes.
And then Dark Knight of the Scarecrow.
Oh, I haven't heard of that film.
That's Larry Drake, my friend.
Who's that?
And then we had Kirk Eckhart. He didn't recommend a movie. He recommended one book that is yet to be adapted that he wants to see adapted. And you may have heard of it. I certainly haven't. It's called Davo's Little Something. So there's something for people to look up. I sure as hell didn't.
I've never heard of it.
Me neither. Then we had Matthew Holmes, director of The Cost, the movie that is responsible for this topic. He weighed in with Payback, which is
With
the
Mel Gibson.
Count of Monte Cristo, and Road to Perdition.
Yes, all classics, all
And
great
then
movies.
In brackets, he said Princess Bride as a little add-on.
As a little add-on.
Yeah. And then Gregory Moss,
It's not a comedy, it's a revenge film.
Gregory Moss. That's a great bit.
There's only one person out there who's going to get that,
Or-
and she
no,
won't listen to the show.
Or all the listeners
Or all
that
the
have been
listeners,
with us for the long haul. But then we had Gregory Moss, who co-wrote The Cost, and he just simply said The Crow. That was his go-to. But I want to
going
know.
to watch that 3 times in a row.
Well, there's 4 of those movies, isn't there? Plus,
There is that
there's a
City to Heaven and Stairway to Heaven. Or whatever it is.
that was a TV show, yep.
Yeah.
And the second one was the City of Angels.
City of Angels.
I like that one a lot. That was actually quite good. David Kep wrote that
Although
one.
the best thing about The Crow is that they give the synopsis of the film in the film. Like when was it Michael Wincott? Was it Michael or Jeff? Michael Wincott does that. He goes, I'm a crow. I'm dead. You're like, you've just summed up the whole film.
Yeah, it's
It should
like
be on the back of the slick.
It's like a Punch and Judy act.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasted time watching that movie.
Yeah, you didn't need
just
to.
stop there.
Yeah.
So I want to know what movies you would program. Would you like me to go first to give you time, or
Yeah, because I, in typical, a lot more so in typical fashion, I didn't. I know you said revenge was the theme, and the movie that I'm going to recommend is not in any way really a revenge film.
Yep.
Although it has elements of it.
Okay, that's all right.
But I didn't.
This show's a mixed bag, mate. And in typical
I've
Glenn
gotta-
fashion, I am playing the microphone stand again. You can hear me strumming
I can
that.
hear you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just in case people are listening.
Like
What-
a guitar.
What the hell is that? And that's me accidentally knocking my stand. I'm going to go first. All right.
Do it.
So I've gone Riders of Justice, that movie from a couple of years
You
ago.
do really like that
I
film.
love that one
was
with
your
Mads
top
Mikkelsen.
film, the best film of the year, wasn't it?
It
One
was, and that is a doozy of a revenge film. But then I've gone Prisoners, which I also love, and I've mentioned a few times.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one with Hugh Jackman and Paul Dano and Jake Gyllenhaal. I now, after all these years, I rate it above 7 as far as thrillers go.
Wow,
That's how
a
good
big
it is.
call.
That's how good it is. And then, do you remember Abel Ferreira's Miss 45?
Boy, do I! That is the one that I would bring up.
Yeah.
Because it's not only it's not just a rape revenge film, it's a double rape revenge film. It's the weirdest.
Starring Sophie Vergara. That's an in-joke. Got to be on TikTok to know that one.
Yeah, if you're a big fan of The View,
Yeah,
then
that's right.
that joke will.
So I haven't seen Miss 45 since VHS days, and I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I do remember loving it. You know when you're a bit pretentious and you're younger and you watch these extreme movies just because it's cool to?
Yeah.
That's one I used to watch. Is it Love and a 45 is another one, I think?
Love and a 45, isn't that a road? That's more of a road
Yeah,
trippy
but that's
one.
another one of those sort of extreme movies at the time. Was that the one with Rory Cochrane and Renee Zellweger?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Gil Bellows.
Yeah, so that was like an R-rated movie that I just watched because it was cool to watch R-rated movies.
Well, that was in the wake of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, totally.
Kind of
So-
Pulp Fiction meets Empire Records.
Yes, so I lumped Miss 45 in that as far as why I watched it in the
Yeah.
early days, but I haven't watched it since. So that's my fantasy lineup of revenge films. There's a lot more I could do, but I'm going to stick with 3.
Yeah, like it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, I think Mandy is an interesting revenge film to include in that marathon. I mean, it does have a cheddar goblin in it,
It's
so
perfectly appropriate.
it's a plus.
That comes up on a lot of lists of great revenge films. If it's like a top 100, that's in there.
Yeah, right. Just try. I mean, look, Point Blank,
Yep.
which is the original of Get Carter, which is the ultimate revenge film. And the best thing about it is that he just wants his. I can't remember. I think in Payback it's like $30,000, and there's like, what do you want? $1 million to go with? It's $30,000. He wants $100,000. It's $30,000. Like they just can't get their head around that it's so little.
Yep.
And he's just so good. I'm just looking on.
You're just doing the Google.
I'm just doing the Google now to see what. It's a list of 50 best revenge films of all time on IMDb. And most of the ones that Old Boy,
Of course.
which
Original.
the greatest revenge film of all time is Death Wish.
Yeah, of course.
Uh,
Because then what's the difference? And I can't.
Unforgiven.
Absolutely. I can't determine the difference between a revenge film and a vengeance film. Is it the same thing?
Yeah,
I think it is.
yeah. I mean, well, okay. So my number one is going to have to be Get Carter.
Yep.
Literally, it would be Get Carter, Point Blank, and then maybe Payback, just because I love Point Blank so much.
Yeah.
But which is odd because I hate all the Get Carter remakes.
What about the Limey?
The Limey is a good one.
It's very Get Carter-ish.
It is.
Yeah.
And Terrence Stamp is brilliant in it.
Yep.
And I worked on the Blu-ray release for Umbrella, so
So definitely.
definitely I should like that
With
one.
a bullet.
Just trying to think if there's any ones that pop up in this 50 list that I am like, of course. Carrie. Why didn't anyone say Carrie? Because there weren't that many people who responded. Otherwise, surely it would be on the one with the most iconic line of pretty much any film ever, because it pretty much cemented Samuel L. Jackson as like, before he was Samuel L. Jackson kind of thing. It's A Time to Kill.
Oh,
yeah, I'm glad they're dead, and I hope they burn in hell. It's like one of the greatest lines in cinema history.
Before he became a punchline.
Before he became
Yeah.
before Dave Chappelle took the piss out of it.
Yeah, that's right. I got a question for you, though.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the sex girls?
I'm always ready for the sex girls. That's a lie. I'm never ready for the sex girls.
From the actual greatest revenge film of all time, Revenge of the Nerds.
Of course.
Let's do it.
I have to say that I do like Revenge of the Nerds. It is technically a better film, but I enjoy Revenge of the Nerds 2 a lot more.
Me too.
I've seen it a lot more times.
All right, let's listen to that while I kill that spider behind you.
What's that? Nerd. I smell nerds.
Are you ready for the sex girls? The hot, hotly hot, big hot girls. Are you ready for the sex girls? The right, ultra vital, nice girls. They play pool in your house, they take off their own clothes. They can talk about love 'cause they know where it goes. They are willing without any fuss. Are you ready for the pony girls? The ride fast, ride pony girls. Are you ready for the lonely girls? The sad, old, sad, lonely girls. one stays quiet as a mouse. Bikinis gleaming in the morning light. You might lose your life. They go crazy in the bedroom, baby, and they might explode your mind. Are you ready for the sex girls? The fine, fine, super special, real sex girls. Are you ready for the best girls? The niche, big West girls. There's a knock on your door and they're there in your house. If you can't talk love, then you better get out. They are women without any faults, and they are never accidental, and the party never ends. So close your eyes and make a wish. The sex girls will be there. Are you ready for the sex girls? Sex, 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 sex. Sex girls. Sex, 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 sex. Sex girls. Sex, 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 sex. Are you ready for the sex girls? The hot, hot, lean, hot, big, hot girls. Are you ready for the sex girls? The hot, hot, lean, hot, big, hot girls. There's that knock on your door and they come back again. If you can't talk love, then you better pretend they are women without any faults. Are you ready for the sex girls? No one is ready for the sex girls. Are you ready for the sex girls? No one is ready for the sex girls. There's a knock on your door and you just gotta learn. So wild about love, every boy gets his turn with these women without any faults. Are you ready for the sex girls? No one is ready for the sex girls. Are you ready for the sex girls? No one is ready for the big sex girls. Are you ready for the sex girls?
So, ready for the sex girls? That's where we're at. And yeah, I had to pull that last segment short because there was a spider on the roof right behind you, and I didn't want it to drop on you, mate.
Thank you. I don't think I could handle a flesh-eating bite.
That's right. It was a whitetail, everybody. All right, so let's move on. Revenge of the Nerds is a fantastic movie. As you were saying, number 2 is the preferred
Yeah.
cut. What do you think of number 2 and 3 and 4?
Which is one of those, the ones where they're all old and their kids are...
Both of them are. They're made
Yeah.
back to back. Yeah,
I think I've only seen one of them, Jefferson, and Jefferson comes back from number 2.
yeah, that's right.
I think he's number 2.
Yeah. He's in
I
all
always-
of them, I think.
I always think that is he number...
Oh, no,
he number
Jefferson, is he the black guy?
No. So Jefferson from...
Oh, we're talking
From
Ted
Married with
McGinley.
Children.
He's
Yeah,
in all
Ted
of them.
McGinley.
He's in all of them.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
realize he was in the... Because there's...
He's the jock in the first one.
Yeah, but then why does he go to the island for the second one?
Why not?
Yeah, well... Yeah.
They all went to the
I
island.
mean,
in the
don't get
second
me
one.
wrong. I love Ted C. McGinley. He's on. He's in Shrinking, in a bit part.
Yeah.
and he's fucking hilarious.
He becomes a nerd in part 4 or number 3, one or the other. Yeah. Anyway, what are we doing? Talking about Revenge of the Nerds. What kind of
This is the
segue is that into the cost?
This is a revenge show.
That's right. I guess it is on theme. Jesus Christ. I mean, what's more torturous, Revenge of the Nerds 4 or The Cost? Because The Cost is a torture movie. I'm just going to give up and just get straight to the punch.
Yeah.
People that know the show very well and have listened from the start will know I have a very strong affection for Matthew's films. I love Twin Rivers and I love The Legend of Ben Hall, and I do think that the new one, The Cost, is his best movie. I do think he's a very underrated director.
You've
or overlooked.
championed him.
I have. I like the guy, and I do love his movies. In this movie, regardless of the fact, I would have loved this anyway. It is that good, and it's been kicking ass. It's had some screenings around town. It's had good feedback, and it's now out on Blu-ray and DVD through Madman. So I reckon everyone should get it. Completely brutal. Just to give you a gist of the story, it's about two guys that kidnap a criminal that's been released, and he has done something in the past that has affected them both, and they decide to exact brutal revenge on him.
Because what the government, the courts did wasn't enough.
And it's a real moral quandary because it looks at each of their involvement in this act, and it's like, well, who do you sympathize with? Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? And it kind of alternates all the way through the film.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Anyway, here it is. Kevin D is the guy that gets absolutely brutalized in this. And if you do buy the Blu-ray, watch the making of, because you'll see actually how brutalized he got in real life, because he had to be strung up and endure.
They didn't have an effects budget, so they just beat the shit out of him.
Right. And of course,
Luckily,
Matthew,
he's into that.
Matthew chats with me on Facebook this week as well, so check that out too. Well, Kevin, what a pleasure to be chatting with you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Glenn. Yourself?
Yeah, doing good, mate. Welcome to Good Movie Monday. This is a great movie. I've been singing its praises for a long time. Everybody knows that. I've been on board with Matt's work for a long time. I think it's his best.
Yeah, look, I'm very proud of what we managed to create through the COVID lockdowns and everything. It's turned out excellent. Couldn't ask for a better response, really.
Bloody oath. It's a brutal movie. Got to be your most physically challenging movie to date, or performance to date?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's pretty dark subject matter. I played some bad guys in the past, but this one, certainly was mentally and physically challenging. There was a lot going on, running around the bush there in the middle of winter and stuff.
Just from a physical point of view, how prepared were you to be as uncomfortable as what I assume you were?
Well, look, as soon as I read the script, I knew it was going to be pretty physically challenging. For sure, but I was certainly up for that challenge. It's such a great role. Those roles do not come along very often, and I really wanted to jump at the chance. And I also was aware of Matt's work, and I was really excited to be working with Matt. So, yeah, I knew it was going to be full on, but I was ready.
But I mean, how hard was it? Your people that haven't seen it, your character is you're strung up, you're put into positions that are, I imagine, almost impossible to maintain for, a long period of time.
Yeah.
Did that really take its toll? How long, what's the longest stretch that you were in an uncomfortable position?
Look, we did certainly take breaks in between takes there, because physically holding my arms up for that long, there was some things that were very, very physically challenging. But so we try not to. Some of those takes were also very long scenes, so we did try and sort of run those scenes as a whole rather than trying to stop and start constantly, which would have ended up being, even more challenging for me. So yeah, I remember after a couple of times after we'd run those really long scenes, I was very, very spent. And there was one scene I remember we had to revisit. Something didn't quite work, so we did revisit that a few months later, and I remember thinking, I've got to get back into that same.
I guess
yeah,
being that spent serves the performance, though, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's where Troy is at that point in time. So
yeah, that's right.
It wasn't a stretch for me to do that.
There's a lot of moral ambiguity in this film, which is, I think, what I like the most about it. And your character is both absolutely deplorable, but there's a sympathetic sort of element going on here as well. Was there a lot of discussion about how you play him and how sympathetic to make him? Because it's it's a tricky sort of juggle.
It really is, yeah, and that's one of the things that really attracted me to the script. Really, it's not just black and white as we often see in these films. The audience do sort of, don't know how to feel towards Troy at times, because obviously he has done these horrible, brutal things in the past, but does he deserve what's happening to him? So yeah, Matt and I did discuss that a lot. It was a tricky fine line not to make him, a stereotypical bad guy that people are just not going to feel anything for. There's got to be a sense of empathy there. But Yeah, so I just sort of approached the role, I guess, as someone that really is trying to just move on with his life. Um, Obviously, there's notes in there where the audience isn't sure if he's just manipulating them and whether
Yep.
he's remorseful at all or not. But yeah.
Yeah, it's juicy stuff, mate. Like, what style of acting do you subscribe to? Like, do you have to take your mind to really dark places, or can you switch it on and off between takes?
Look, I think sometimes you have to be able to have a certain amount of just being able to switch it on and off, especially in roles like this, where, like I said, I have played some murderous type characters before, often drawn to characters that are, dealing with redemption and things like that. So prisoners and all sorts of horrible characters. And it's hard to really fully immerse yourself in that psyche constantly. It's not good. It's not healthy for you. So and especially, like I said, there were times we were shooting in between lockdowns, so there was a lot of chopping and changing, and so you have to be able to sort of slot in and out of this character at times, and sometimes you don't have a lot of time to when you're doing indie filmmaking.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of COVID, like, you did shoot this over a long period of time. And I was talking to Matt recently about maintaining continuity over such a sort of long period of time and coming back and forth on weekends and whatnot. Was it hard for you just personally to maintain your appearance and your physique and just, your hair, all these things?
It was a little bit, to be honest. So the hair and makeup artist and I often laughed a bit in between. When we were watching the film, we could tell which shoot was when, because I'd put on a little bit more weight or I'd lost a little bit of weight. I mean, you don't really notice that in the edit at all, but
No, you don't.
we knew.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was tricky to try, and continuity is always a bit of a nightmare, but especially when there's big time jumps, in between shoots. So
Did you have other projects in between or anything like that you had to sort of keep in mind as well?
I was, for the first part of the shoot, I was actually doing a play at the same time. So that was a pretty intense time, trying to juggle both those things and very different subject matters. But otherwise, when we came back for the second half of that shoot 6 months later or so, I was just pretty much fully immersed in the cost, which was great.
Yeah, awesome. And as you said a moment ago, you've played some pretty badass characters throughout your career. And anyone that wants to go to your IMDb page and look at your profile, there's a lot of photos of those characters. Do you prefer playing bad guys or good guys? Do you have a preference, or is it all fun?
Look, a lot of people, I know Matt had issues casting this role. A lot of actors, sometimes these roles are a bit too full on, too intense. Don't want to put yourself through that sort of mental anguish. But I just think, those characters are such juicy roles. Sometimes I feel like I'd be mad to not, take on the challenge. But having said that, I do know a lot of friends and family who are just like, can you just do a rom-com for a change,
Yeah.
So it is fun sometimes. I just did a comedy shoot the other week, and it was great just to do something light. And
Well, wasn't your first movie Road to Nil?
Oh God, yeah, years ago. I was just an extra in that. I was just a kid in school, but so that was filmed very small, isolated area where I grew up. So that was my first experience being on a film set. Yeah.
Is that kind of what wet the whistle? Like, what wanted you to get
to a
into
degree. Film? Yeah, I really enjoyed that day, and then as I said, was still in school, and then decided I'm going to pursue this, and got into drama school, and it all snowballed from there.
I was going to ask if you were a theatre kid.
Yeah, I did go to drama school, which was very much theatre based where I went. But since graduating from there, I did a lot of screen courses and stuff. So I predominantly do more film and television stuff than theatre these days.
Yeah, cool. So Matt's first two films were Twin Rivers and Ben Hall, Legend of Ben Hall, both very strong period pieces. Were you as surprised to read a script like this from him as what I was?
Yeah, I was a little bit, because I remember speaking to Matt. I hadn't met him in person until it came to doing the cost, but I remember chatting to him online about he was working on another bushranger project. It revolved around Glen Rowan, I believe, and yeah, so I was very much aware that was, where he was heading, and that was his favorite sort of genre. But so when this came around, I was like, oh wow, okay, very different. But he and Greg Moss, the writer, it's such a great script. So
bloody oath, I think this genre suits him. Like I hope he does. Pursue it a little bit further. I know he's got other things in mind that are kind of dark as well. So yeah, I just, I always thought he was great doing the period stuff, but this suddenly is just like he's tapped into something that he's natural at.
Oh yeah, totally. He's done such a good job with this film. Yeah, I think we were all blown away because as we've discussed, it was a pretty low budget indie thing, but he's done an amazing job with it. Yeah, he really knows how to nail this style, I think.
Absolutely. So what about you? Like, what kind of movies do you gravitate towards in your, in your downtime?
Just watching at home,
Yeah, just, just for shits and giggles, mate. You've got some time to yourself. What are you going to watch?
Look, I do, I guess, tend to gravitate towards drama than comedy or fantasy. So yeah, generally hard-hitting drama is where I'm at, I think.
Yeah, cool. Do you have any go-to filmmakers? You're a Scorsese guy or?
Oh God, yeah. Who doesn't love Scorsese? Yeah. Look, I don't know that I have a favorite director or anything. Yeah.
Cool.
No one in particular, but
I always love to pick the brains of people I talk to just to find out what kind of stuff they are into, outside of work,
Yeah.
But yeah, look, this movie is great. I really hope everybody discovers it. And interestingly, I was at the cast and crew screening, and it was only when the credits rolled that I realized I was sitting next to you.
Oh, right. Were you?
Yeah, dude. So we can say we've watched the movie together. So
we have. Well, yeah, that was the very first time we were all. That was very hard to watch the cast and crew screening because I've seen it a couple of times on the big screen since. But
yeah, you probably don't remember, but I turned to you and I'm like, oh my God, I'm fucking sitting next to the guy. Like,
it's him. He's alive.
Yeah, that's right. But mate, no, thank you so much for taking time for our show. Like, it's a pleasure. We've been spruiking this for a long time, right from the inception when Matt came on the show to now. And look, I hope good things happen for you, for Matt, for the film, and yeah, onwards and upwards.
Oh, thank you, mate. Thank you so much for having me. It's a very exciting time. I've got quite a few screenings coming up, and yeah, it's very exciting indeed.
Get on it, everyone. All right, thanks, mate.
Thanks, Glenn. Cheers.
Welcome to Bonehead Weekly Fun Size. And this week, we're talking fictional books. And I'm not talking about just books that don't exist. They exist, but only on the silver screen. James, you're the literate one. You go first.
I'm going to talk about one because it's a movie I enjoy that nobody talks about much anymore because it's one of the greatest, most terrible books ever in that it is supposed to allow you to summon forth the Dark Lord Satan, the ninth gate of the Kingdom of Shadows. If you've never seen the movie Ninth Gate by Roman Polanski, it's supposed to be a 17th century book that was written in league with the devil. The author and so Dean Corso is a rare book collector who finds or buys or obtains a copy, but he believes there's only 3 copies left and he believes only one is authentic, and he hires Dean Corso is Johnny Depp's character. The guy that owns it hires him to track down the other 2 and determine which one is truly authentic. And as you might imagine, things start to get weird and creepy. And it's a movie I enjoy. Watch the director's commentary and it'll put you to sleep. But the film itself is kind of fun. And the book it's based on is called The Club du Mont. It's definitely a fictional book that, if you're looking for fictional books that are used in film that drive the plot, but also are just creepy to think about. Nine Gates of the Kingdom of Shadows is a great one that doesn't get a lot of attention.
I'm up next. I was really torn, but I have to go for Handbook for the Recently Deceased from Beetlejuice.
You dickwad.
Why?
I think that may have been what he was going to use, Joe.
All right, I'll use my backup, bitch.
I'm sorry. You want me to do another one and you do this one? I've got to do my other one. I don't mind.
Nope. No. You go.
Well, I just would like to read the damn book. So you're saying that most humans, living people, can't or won't see ghosts? Reads like stereo instructions, Chad.
Instructions.
I just want to read it. I know
It
doesn't
exists
exist.
now. Like people from our generation decide to ruin the mystery and write the book.
But did you ever bother to read it?
Oh hell no, I'm not reading that shit.
No,
In all
just
fairness,
want the
you
color.
could say that about almost any book, and that's going to be Chad's response.
That's not
Chad-
true. Chad read a book.
I've read several books. See
That-
Spot
I
Run.
was like, how'd that cat get in that hat? Nobody ever gave him the origin
the
story.
Bob books. He's read some of those. He's reading them to make.
Pat sat.
Yeah,
Pat
yeah.
sat with a cat.
So, Chad, you're up next since I stole yours and spoke so little about it.
Yeah, I can't believe you stole mine and then proceeded not to say a damn thing about it.
I don't know what you want to say. I said the quote from it, and then I said Beetlejuice is directed by Tim Burton. It came out in 1988. Not looking it up, just remember.
So what's the only book that can kill the mummy, Dracula, the Gill Man, a werewolf, and Frankenstein?
Don't know.
That is the Diary of Van Helsing from the Monster Squad.
So, funny story. I decided the other day, I was like, that's for kids. I can show that to Q.
No.
Buddy, there's several F words in it the first 30 minutes, and I ain't talking about fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, what's that? And I go, we're turning it off.
Oh, yeah.
Because the 80s PG is different than what I remember.
Yeah. Oh, I showed my kids Overboard. Yeah, that was a mistake.
Oh, what's bad in Overboard?
Oh, there's a huge sex scene in the middle of it.
Well, yeah, what's bad in Overboard?
I know it, but
He's
yeah,
not interested in sex or kissing, but if it's a funny word, he will repeat it.
it's one of those books that you really don't get to see a lot of, but only the scary German guy can read it. But at the same time, if you don't have that book and the amulet, whatever I just said.
Analet.
Omelets. He's going to have omelets with his books.
Ooh,
He
can we
was
just stop
watching
this
the
because we'll just stop this recording because it's not going very well.
No, it's all
You know,
right, buddy.
We'll need some
more-
omelets.
I want you to talk some more about this analet.
That's what I said in an amulet. But no, it's a great
That's
book.
what I'm hoping you're saying.
It's a great book. I should probably read it sometime.
You probably should, because it will teach you that Wolfman has nards, and is she a virgin?
And to our listeners, this is James' fault.
This is James.
Maybe you should try reading books instead of burning them, Chad.
This has been Bonehead Weekly.
How else will I get those bras burned?
We'll be burning bras since 1902.
Stop buying them, Chad.
Some pretty good choices there, Ben.
Yeah, I liked all of those.
Do not disagree with any.
No,
The old Beetlejuice book of the recently deceased, whatever that's called, it's coming back.
it's yeah.
It's coming back. I'm looking forward to that. That's one of the few films I was asked at Monster Fest last week. Do I look forward to movies? And I'm like, I don't. I don't really. Like, they just come and go for me, and I enjoy them in the moment. But that one I am looking forward to.
I still look forward to good movies. I just don't know until I watch them that what I'm watching is going to be one.
You know what? Like
Like I was looking forward to Gran Turismo. Like I thought this looks like just my kind of shit.
well, I was too. I guess there are a few in between. And look, it sounds like a wanky thing to say, and it really is a wanky thing to say. But when you and I have this privilege of all the movies come at us and we get to see them at screenings, you kind of just sort of, I know it's going to come my way, so I'm not going to really look particularly forward to it because I know I will see it anyway. Whereas when you actually, pay for a movie and there's value in it, that's when you should look forward to movies. It's like, am I going to waste my money or am I not? You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, I just like to buy Blu-rays and then not watch them.
I mean, put it this way. Yeah, that's right. I was looking forward to the Indiana Jones, like really, really looking forward to that. And I did spend money to go and watch that one and felt completely ripped off. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks, Boneheads. You know where to find them. Anywhere you get podcasts, do check them out on YouTube as well.
If you just head to the great state of Kentucky, they'll be there.
They will.
Well, one of them's in Mississippi.
Yeah, well, just shout out. Joe!
The other two.
Just yell out.
Yeah, there's only one Joe.
That's right. And
There's only one Chad.
we arrive at the part of the show where we
Chad.
we kind of recommend movies. We talk about movies that we think you should go and track down and watch. And I'm going to theme mine, as I said before, but Ben's is going to go out on a limb and just,
It does look. It's not a romantic comedy. The movie I'm talking about. It does kind of.
All right.
You know.
Shall I go first, or do you want to go first?
Well, I'll go first.
Okay,
just
do it.
because it's weird. Look, I finally, for some reason, had no idea what it was about, and I got it mixed up with another film at the time that I remember there was some controversy about Luke Buckmeister, like writing a review and not mentioning the woman who directed it. I can't remember what the name of that film was.
Right.
But he copped all this shit from women on the internet about not mentioning congratulating how good the film was and not mentioning the director or some horse shit like that. I can't remember the details. And I thought it was this film. So I just was like, I'm just not interested in whatever it's about. I just don't care.
Yeah, not going to buy into that.
No, it wasn't even because of that. It's just like I heard it was coming out, and I just was like, I didn't. There wasn't a screening of it.
That's right.
I was like,
you privileged bastard.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go out of my way. But then I don't know how it came up. I was doing some hanging out in Google as I do, doing some just doing some Googling, and it came up, and then I read the synopsis, and I'm like, holy shit, this sounds right up my alley. Why haven't I seen this? And so I just stopped what I was doing and watched it, and it was great. It is.
That's the kind of time you have too. You can just stop and watch it.
2016's The Belko Experiment.
Oh, of course, James Gunn.
James Gunn originated the project, but Greg McLean polished it off, provided the happy ending.
Was Eli Roth involved? I feel like this was a collaboration between 3 people, but I could be mistaken.
Look, I didn't read about him.
That's all right.
But I think it's a. Is it a what's the name film? Is it a?
I'll tell you what, it might not be a revenge film, but it fits the theme anyway. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's like a pretty kind of full on. So basically, it's about these, for the most part, American workers who work for this Belco corporation in Colombia. I think it's Colombia in South America, and their whole job is helping American workers find work and in Colombia. Which when you think about it, you're like, isn't it the other way around? Like, but and there's about 100, 150 or so employees of this company. And at the start of the film, they all get there, and there's all of a sudden there's new security guards, and they're all doing weird checks, and they're things are a bit odd, but no one really thinks anything of it, and they go in and begin their work day, and then all of a sudden this voice comes over the headphone saying that in the next you've got 30 minutes to kill 3 people, otherwise there'll be consequences. And they think it's a joke, they don't really believe it, and then all of a sudden, like shutters go down around the whole building, and they're trapped in there.
Yep.
And when they don't kill the 3 people, all of a sudden all hell breaks loose, and like heads are exploding and people are getting killed, and then it basically turns into a kind of a Lord of the Flies where they.
Like it's kind of dumb, but it works. The premise works on camera.
And I read a lot of the criticisms of it is that there's not necessarily enough meat on the bone there to make it it's no battle royale.
Yep.
And it does kind of miss out on that a bit. It's almost like there's too many characters for them to get really personal with any of them. Yet I still found it thoroughly enjoyable.
I agree.
I just had a lot of fun watching it.
Reminds me, do you remember there was a movie maybe 10, 12 years ago called Severance? And it was about the office workers that go on like a team building weekend.
Yes.
And they all they all have to kill each other.
Yeah.
That was a good one too.
It also reminds me of Mayhem.
Mayhem.
That's the one with the guy from Walking Dead and Samara Weaving. And they're in the building and they release the gas that makes them all psychotic.
That's right.
Or in the water or whatever it is, and they all start killing each other.
And you got Red Ink with Nicholas Hope, all these sort of office worker kind of
yeah. I like these
horror brutal movies.
Yeah. It's a great idea, like just a bunch of people in an enclosed space with no choice other than to kill themselves, and what happens.
Damn straight.
And that is the whole purpose behind the Belko experiment, as you find out as the film goes, they're like, it is an experiment.
It's great to see Greg McLean doing movies outside of the Wolf Creek verse, I guess you could say. Like I wish he would do a lot more horror. Like he kind of spreads it thin.
Yeah,
and I'd love to see him.
I think he spreads it thin because, like everyone else, it's
hard to make movies.
Tough getting the gig.
Yeah, he seems to get good ones though when he gets them, and he's been like Jungle was great, and I loved Rogue, of course.
Yeah,
and he's doing number 3 of Wolf Creek, so. He's still busy.
That guy never dies. But it's got a great cast too. John Gallagher Jr., who I had no idea he had got a leading role. Like, I remember seeing this guy as a kid in like an episode of The West Wing.
Yep.
And then he's kind of worked for Aaron Sorkin again in other things, and he just keeps popping up in things. It's great. But look, Tony Goldwyn, he's one of the major kind of antagonists in the film. Fucking great. I love that guy.
Yep.
John C. McGinley, Melanie Diaz has a great part. Sean Gunn, who's in all James Gunn
movies. And he's
movies,
good in everything.
and he's great. He's hilarious.
Michael Rooker.
Big Head is in it. Rooker. What happens to Rooker is one of the most amazing scenes, and it's quite early in the film, so it's not a spoiler. But it's probably one of the best special effects in the film. It's great. But there's a lot of cool. There's a lot of cool kills. There's people you don't expect to get killed. People who you expect to stay alive. Like it's all over the place.
Did you say David Dasmalchian?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's fucking in everything. That guy.
But back then it was like, who is he?
Yeah.
He was a nobody.
Yeah, he was just like
Yep.
But also our friend Greg Henry.
Yeah.
He makes an appearance. Fucking, I love Greg Henry. And it took me a while. Like he's got a bit of prosthetics going on, but not that much. Like when you know what Greg Henry looks like, you're like, how much of this is fake and how much of this is real? But he's doing a weird voice in it too. But he's great.
Is it Greg Henry who's the actor that refuses to kiss on screen? Refuses to kiss other women in respect for his wife? Is it?
That's Kirk Cameron.
I mean that too, but no, I think it might be Greg Henry if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know if Greg Henry. No, because he
not.
kisses Lucy Liu in
It's
Payback
not,
quite
not.
a bit.
It's an actor like him. I'll figure it out, and I'll let you all know before the end.
I
of the
was going
show.
to say, but thinking about it, apart from Payback and Blowout, no, Body Double. Sorry,
Yeah.
I can't think of any films where anyone's ever asked Greg Henry to kiss anyone. Although, he was when he in his younger years he was quite good looking, but he got weird about it pretty quick.
Neil McDonough.
Yeah, right.
There you go. That's who it was.
Look, the first thing I ever really paid attention to Neil McDonough in was what is it? The cannibal movie with Guy Pearce in the.
Of course, Ravenous.
Ravenous.
Yeah, go on, do
he's
it.
the
Do
albino.
it. Do it.
He's looking at me. The best.
We've
Love
got
that line.
So many sound bites of you doing that.
Of me doing it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But he's the albino. He's the albino psychopath in that, and he's great. But he doesn't really. I don't even remember him having that many lines or anything in that film. He's certainly not one of the main characters. But then from that point on, it was like a light switch had been flicked, and you're just like, this guy is in fucking everything.
He was even in that Resident Evil that you played at Monster Fest.
He was.
There you go.
He's in Justified. He's in. He's in. What was that? Time.
Timescape.
No.
Oh, the one with Paul Walker. No.
Yeah,
and the Richard Donner film.
Was it no?
Gerard Butler.
Is it? Yeah, Gerard Butler.
Yeah,
Was that Richard Donner?
Yeah.
I thought it was Crichton. It's based on Crichton.
Yeah, but it's
Michael
Richard Donner
Crichton book.
directed it. Paul Walker. Yes, he's in that.
And Billy Connolly, and he's in that. Yeah, he's great, and he's like
Timeline.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
There we go. Excellent.
I feel like we're getting there quicker.
Well, this is part of the nerdy cinematic ramblings that we're talking about. Maybe we need to change the catchphrase of the show, and maybe then people will listen to the end.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you do in the edit. How much of the awkward pauses while I'm trying to think of things you cut out.
What can we change it to? Snappy cinema. I don't know. Segues.
Yeah.
All right. How about my recommendation?
Quickfire cinema repartee.
I reckon you may have mentioned this movie. I don't know if it was a recommendation or just in passing, but 2004 there was a movie called Dead Man's Shoes, which stars Paddy Considine, and he also wrote it. He was in Shaun of the Dead or one of those Simon Pegg movies.
He's in a few. He's in World's End.
Yes, that's the one. And
in the cop one, Hot Fuzz.
Yes,
I don't know if he's in Shaun.
Well, he's a fucking badass motherfucker in this one. It was directed by a guy called Shane Meadows, who did the whole This Is England franchise.
Right.
And like the best revenge movies, this story is completely simple. It just follows a guy who has returned from service in the war. comes home to his hometown and then just has this mission to exact revenge on a group of low-end gangsters that tormented and tortured his mentally handicapped brother while he was away. So his brother points them out and he just fucking goes to town. He has zero fear of these guys, even though they are badasses. And he fucks with them in the most brutal ways. And he wears one of those creepy sort of old-style oxygen masks when he attacks. And that freaks them out to begin with. But then he creeps into their rooms when they sleep and he'll paint them in drag and stuff. So they wake up and they're like, who's fucking with us? So he really fucks with them before he unleashes hell upon them, and it's violent and it's gratuitous.
I'm going to check this out.
The poster itself, I remember back in the VHS days, the cover on VHS was just like, oh, this is like a terrifying movie and I haven't even seen it, Yeah. And I've seen it maybe twice, maybe 3 times since then. And it just blows me away every time. It's just got a real sting in the tail as well, and I just couldn't recommend it highly enough. So it's called Dead Man's Shoes.
Dead Man's Shoes. Because you know the Paddy Considine movie that I it's another one that I think I've just got a line in it that I repeat all the time.
Yep.
So tell me if you've heard it. But it's Romeo is it Room for Romeo Brass? Have you seen that film?
I know of it. I haven't watched it.
And Paddy Considine has that. He writes a poem for this girl in the film. He's like in all his films. He's a bit mentally unhinged. But he's got a really weird accent in this one. He's like, 1 beat, 2 beats, my heart beats for you. It's the only line I remember from the film. And it's just every time I think of Paddy Considine, I'm just 1 beat, 2 beats, my heart beats for you.
Well, I should mention, if I haven't already, he co-wrote this one as well. So
nice.
Yes, he wrote it for himself. Yes.
That's what they say. Make your own work.
There we go. There lies the end of the show. We've reached the end, my friend.
Excellent.
Time to wrap it up. Yeah.
And there's no video.
There's no video this week because I've got a bonus content
You got a bonus content one.
So
Perfect.
we can watch a movie or something. Whatever.
Let's watch Dead Man's Shoes. You've just seen it.
Not before we play a song to take us out. Back to Paradise. Do we know what that movie's from? It's by 38 Specials from Revenge of the Nerds 2, mate.
Oh, no. I don't remember the soundtrack of that at all.
The second you hear this song, you'll be whisked back.
I have to say that while I have seen Revenge of the Nerds 2 probably 30 times, the last time I would have been probably 13 years old.
Yeah.
Like I watched it. My grandmother, for some reason, had it on tape. And so every time, along with the pilot for Kung Fu, Kung Fu TV series, it'd be Revenge of the Nerds. And there's one other movie, I can't remember what was the other one that she had. Oh, Hans Christian Andersen. But she had Hans Christian Andersen. She taped it at the end of one movie so that it was the first half.
Yep.
And then the second half was on another tape.
Yep.
So I only invariably ever watched half of Hans Christian
Wow, look at those coconuts.
I do remember all the booger stuff.
Absolutely. The burp, the Belch Master.
Yeah. James Hong. That was my introduction to James Hong.
What an intro.
Yeah. And then the next thing I would have seen him in is Big Trouble in Little China. I'm like, this guy is the greatest actor in the world. And I only realised it when I watched it again like a couple of weeks ago. James Hong is in the pilot episode of Kung Fu.
Oh my God. Well, back then there was a very small, stall of Asian actors that you could employ.
Yeah.
Him and the other guy with the really long hair and the little.
Yeah, Al Leong.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I love that you knew who I was talking about because there was so few of them.
The beauty of Al Leong though is that in Lethal Weapon they actually let him talk, and he's like, oh yes, please, I would like to have one of those. Can I get some Cheerios, please? Thank you. He's got like a really mild,
like Michael
American
Berryman
voice.
in Weird Science.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's play the song. All right, I'll see you next week, Ben.
See you next week.
But now the time is right. Yeah.
1 beat, 2 beat, 3 beat, sugar beet. 4 beat, 5 beat, 6 beat, wheat beat. 7 beat, 8 beat, 9 beat, art beat. My art beat. My art is beating for you.